Alrighty, what's up everybody? It is I, your Tribal God of Extreme, Peter Joseph here for my third and final video of the night on this late, getting close to late Wednesday night, January the 21st, 2026, or if you're watching tomorrow, January the 22nd, 2026. Thank you all for watching right here on the Peter Joseph YouTube Wrestling channel. YouTube.com/Peter Joseph. Thank you for watching once again. Make sure you like the video, hit the subscribe button down there. You know where it is, in my pants, otherwise known as the description box below. So, do it now, and subscribe to my other channels as well. Show your love and support. Leave a comment on the video if you like, but if you leave stupid comments, you get sent to the Shadow Realm, and Satan and Ozzy will eat your soul. And, so, don't do it. Do it somewhere else. Because I ain't gonna do it here. If you don't like it, tough. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and share the video all over the internet. Don't forget to tap and slap that bell. Turn on all notifications so you don't miss the next one, because if you miss anything, well, you know what you are, and you know what that means. You're pretty much out of luck. And that's pretty much it. You're out of luck if you miss anything. So, hit that bell, and hopefully you won't miss it. And, if you do, well, that's too bad for you. That's that. And, as always, for our newbies out there, if you're here for the first time, well, welcome to the party, pal. We hope you enjoy the ride. Sit back, you relax, grab yourself a nice, tasty, cold one. Fruit punch, ladies and gentlemen. Just fruit punch. Can't tell it's a mixed. But it's fruit punch from this little brand. Basically, it's called Body Armor, which is, I guess, a Temu version of Powerade or Gatorade, but yeah, the missus got this for me, so that's that. But in any case, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, put your feet up, and enjoy the show. If you like it, great. You know, I can't help you. Too bad. That's that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's late, and gonna just record this video, and then I'm gonna go to bed. By the time you see this, I'll be in bed anyway, so it is what it is. But anyway, check out my last two videos that I recorded earlier. My NXT review on this channel, and then go over to my Metal Guy channel, where I just recorded a video talking about the untimely passing of Bobby Duncum Sr. We all know his son, Bobby Duncum Jr., he passed away in 2000 to an accidental drug overdose, but his dad, Bobby Duncum Sr., just passed away at the age of 81. Due to, we don't know, but probably natural causes or something. But check out those videos. Links will be down below, down there, in the description box below. And that's it. Alright, everybody, hope you had a great day, and getting ready for Thursday, and the eventual weekend, and the eventual blizzard we're getting here in the Northeast. As of now, 6 to 10 plus inches, but it could change between tomorrow and Saturday, so I'm hoping for a change, but hopefully it goes further south, so we get a little bit of a mix. Maybe a light coating, maybe not light coating, I said lighter amounts, like maybe 3 to maybe as much as 8. But we'll have to see how it goes. It could go further south, it could go way north, maybe get way more than 10. But we'll see what happens with that as we get through tomorrow and into Friday and Saturday. But yeah, Sunday and Monday may or may not be a great time here in the Northeast. And down south, too. But be safe, be well, and just hunker down. And that's bunker down, not hunker down. But whatever. Just be safe and be well, and get ready for a very bad end to your weekend and beginning of the final week of 2026. January 2026, I should say. That's that. It's like my mind's out of whack as it is. But we move on. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, on this late Wednesday night, it is time for your late night AEW Dynamite review for for January 21st, 2026. And we are emanating from the Edition Financial Arena in Orlando, Florida. And as always, our commentary team, well, we have the man he's back, and that's the man from Red Hook, brother. That's Taz. We also had our good buddy Tony Baloney Schiavone, or Tony Schiavone for you people that love Jericho. And as always, the man behind the mask, that's Excalibur. Alright, so this show was pretty good, not great. There was a few parts like, huh? You know, kind of boring at times. Our main event was Swerve Strickland taking on Kevin Knight of Jet Speed. And everyone was like, why is that match in the main event? But it came out great. Not the match of the year, per se, but it was a good match. And we move on from there. Alright, so we start off the show with Tony Baloney Schiavone in the ring. He brings out the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, the man with the Triple B belt. And that's Maxwell Jacob Fartknocker. MJF comes out. He's better than you, and you know it. Brags about his success, I should say, including giving the Triple B a special introduction. Talks about retaining the belt in his first defense against Bandito S.A., the Ring of Honor World Champion. And Bandito was the first one to find out that that 2026 is going to be my year, and no one is on the level of the devil. And then Brody Hoot King comes out to interrupt, says, I want to hurt you for what you did to my tag team partner, my good buddy Bandito. So I want a world title match, and I want it right here, right now. Because everyone knows that you're just a little bitch. Damn. So he wants the world title, and wants it right now. So MJ's like, whoa there, little doggy. Says, and then he kind of accused Brody of beating a bunch of jobbers, mid-carders, whatever it may be. I'm surprised he said jobbers on live TV. But anyway, so he tells Brody that he's all bark and no bite. He says, I got others, gunning for me, and the answer is no. So then he goes to leave, and then Brody's like, hoo! And then Mac's like, ah! And he runs off like a little bitch. So we'll see what happens with that if Max gives Brody a title shot, maybe down the line. We'll have to see what happens with that. Alright, so that opening segment was pretty decent, so I gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars, and we're off and running on AEW Dynamite! My friends, so that's that. Alright, there we go, look back at the Hangman, Adam Page, and Jet Speed, Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight, winning the AEW Trios titles on Collision last week from the Ops, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Will Hobbs, who is now gone from the company. He may be going to WWE pretty soon. And that man named Shibata, along with Hook as well. But Hook was not in the match, but he was got involved, but he got beat up. So we saw that. We go backstage with the new champs. They talk about coming up with a team name. Kevin Knight actually says, "How about we call?" I think it was not Mike Bailey. I think it was Mike Bailey. I thought it was Kevin Knight, but Mike Bailey says, "How about horse shit?" And Hank was like, "Oh no, we don't, no. We don't talk about cowboy shit anymore, right?" Okay. So Hank was like, "I think we should opt to focus on you guys' matches coming up later." As Speedball Mike Bailey's going to take on Samoa Joe coming up next, and Kevin Knight takes on Swerve. And Kevin Knight asks Hangman, you have any advice for me going into this match with with Swerve? And he, I think Adam Page said, just said good luck. And that was it. Then we didn't see Hangman for a while. That's that. Alright, so I gave that segment 2.5 out of 5 stars. And that's it. Alright, we go to the ring with Speedball Mike Bailey taking on Samoa Joe. Pretty good match. I'm not going to go through all of it because I'm tired. But in any case, back and forth match they went. Eventually we sent for the man. You, get in here, Hook, with your Doritos. Hook, ladies and gentlemen, he's here. And Mr. Speak and Spell himself, Katsuyori Shibata. They come out, and they get involved a little bit. Shibata slaps off some suplexes onto various hard objects like the ring apron, the barricade, the steps. It was nuts. And where's the referee doing? Nothing, Paul Turner. Do something! Joe kicks the knee out again. He was working on that for most of the match. And then Speedball thinks he's Daniel LaRusso. Use the crane kick, Daniel-san. Use the crane kick, Daniel-san. I'm gonna do that crane crap. No. So he does that. So then he hits the moonsault knees. That connects. Goes for a tornado kick in the corner and missed. No water in the pool for you, sir. And then Hook once again distracts with a distraction to break up the ultimate weapon. And Speedball has to climb the corner to flip away from the Coquina Clutch. Tries to do basically a WrestleMania 8 type pin and did not get it, as Joe kicked out at 2. And then Shibata gets in a cheap shot behind the referee's back as Mike Bailey was going, I think, for another top rope move. Shibata came in from behind the referee's back and pretty much knocked Mike Bailey off the top rope, or kind of crotched him on the top rope. And then Joe comes in, hits the Muscle Buster, 1, 2, 3, to finish off Mike Bailey in a little over 15 minutes. Match itself was alright, 3 out of 5 stars. Excuse me, and that's pretty much it. Alright, so the Ops trying to get back to their winning ways. Samoa Joe trying to get back into the AEW World Title scene. And we'll see what happens with that. Maybe more. Alright, then we run down the rest of the card. And we get through match number 2. We get a street fight. A 6-man street fight between the Death Riders. That's the Dancing Fool, Danny Garcia. The guy that fears himself, William Yuta. And the AEW Continental Breakfast of Champions champion, Jon Moxley! And they take on members of the Don Callis family. That's Rocky Romero, let's say. Lance Archer. Everybody dies! And, who else was in this match? I forget who. Solo, who, went after the TNT, I think he's going to, no, he went after the TNT title with the funky chicken himself, Mark Briscoe, and lost. So we'll get that. Alright. So, a street fight means anything goes. They fight in the arena. Moxley and Lance Archer fight through the crowd. Danny Garcia makes a chest roll tap to an ankle lock on the ramp. Doesn't count because it has to be in the ring. They went berserk. Archer chokeslammed William Yuta on the announcer's table. Did not break. Obviously, I am the table. And then Moxley gets surrounded as we come back from break. He tries to fight his way out of it, but everybody's beating the fuck out of Mox. At one point, Marina Shafir comes in with a triangle choke on Lance Archer. That was an interesting stare down. And then, what Marina Shafir did. Archer sends Moxley to a table in a corner, leaving Danny Garcia and William Yuta. They get tied in some 1921 abdominal stretches. Mox comes back with a double DDT. Then he brings out a barbed wire, broken glass, tack table. That was crazy. And then he tried to suplex Rocky Romero into it. But Lance Archer chokeslams him on the board of glass, tacks, and barbed wire. That was crazy. Moxley somehow kicked out of that at 2. And we see his back is all bloodied up because of one with the barbed wire and 2 with the tacks and the glass. That's that. And then that bastard Pac comes out with a crutch because after what? Hi guys, it's me, Darby. I get kicked. You see what I did to Pac? You know, that guy. Injuring his ankle, pretty much penalizing his ankle. So he comes out on crutches, takes one of the crutches, and takes Lance Archer out. And then Claudio comes out from nowhere. I don't know where he came from. And pretty much does more damage to Lance Archer. I think he threw him into somewhere near the stage, and something just blew up. I was like, holy shit! This ain't FMW. And everything blowing up. I mean, somebody call Onita. Shit. And then Marina Shafir with a nut shot to Hicheso's huevos, basically. Danny Garcia with a power driver in the middle of the ring. Then he locks in the Dragon Tamer on poor Rocky Romero. Loves to take pins these days. And then Moxley comes in while Rocky Romero's in the Lion Tamer, and a wicked stomp basically knocked him the fuck out. Paul and I think it was the referee basically said, "That's it, he done." I was like, damn, what a way to finish the match. 15.5 minutes, the Death Riders get the win. And a pretty damn violent match. 3.25 out of 5 stars. And that's it. And then after that, Moxley, who was already outside the ring, and Don Callis was on commentary. And you know what happened with Don Callis and Mox? The last time they were, face to face, with, how Don Callis got that scar on his head. So, he basically, goes right up to Don Callis and says, tell your boy you know where to find me. Now, we're all like, wait a minute, who's he talking about? Is he talking about Kyle Fletcher? But I think, presumably, he was talking about Takeshita or Takeshita. Because, it would have been nice that they would have fought in the semifinals, but it was Fletcher, and then, because Okada beat Takeshita in the semifinals, and then Moxley barely beat Fletcher to go to the finals, and then Moxley beat Okada to win the Continental Breakfast of Champions title. So it looks like Moxley's wants to fight the Alpha. Or maybe the Proto Star! You know, that guy, but... So we'll see what happens with that. And we move on. Alright, then we go to a promo from the Triangle of Madness, the Spider Lady, Dekla, along with the Sisters of Sin, my girl Julia Hart, and the beautiful Sky Blue. Dekla wants to face Chris Cakelander next week for the AEW Women's title. And then Julia Hart basically challenges the new TBS champion Willow Nightingale to another match that's going to be on Collision. And we found out later on, Willow accepts, and as does Chris Cakelander. So those two matches will be happening, Julia Hart and Willow Nightingale, this Saturday night on Collision, which was supposed to be from the Esports Stadium in Texas, but it got canceled because of that big storm that's coming through, that's coming to hit us by the weekend. So they decided to tape Collision tonight, right after Dynamite. So we're going to see that. So we're going to see taped Collision this week on Saturday night on that great station of TNT, going head-to-head with Saturday Night's Main Event. So, nobody's going to watch Collision, because everybody's going to be watching Saturday Night's Main Event on Peacock. Should be on NBC, but we'll move on with that. But if you can't watch it, you can just go on a free stream and try to watch it. But that's that. Or go on Bleacher Report, or Thriller, or whatever you want, you can get it on. And that's that. Alright, I gave that 2.25 out of 5 stars. Alright, then we go to our next match, 5-minute match. FTR, fuck the Revival, Cash is gonna clock Wheeler and Dax Hardwood along with Stokely Hathaway, still in his wheelchair at ringside. Take on the newcomers who got signed thanks to MJF. That's Alec Price and Jordan Oliver. If you don't know who these guys are, look up their indie stuff. Jordan Oliver actually was on Grimm's Toy Show back in the day. He was also CCW Wired champion, and I forgot the name of the group. He was in can't think of the name of the group that he was in back in CCW. But very, very, very good talent, Jordan Oliver. Alec Price took on MJF for the AEW World Title. Obviously lost. But then I think it was an it wasn't Defy. It was I forgot the name of the promotion. There was Limited Wrestling, something like that. But yeah, they had the match, and then I think Jordan Oliver was at ringside with Alec Price, and then MJF beat Alec Price, and then he cuts a promo saying, "Hey, Alec, you and Jordan basically got signed to AEW. You're all elite now." So everybody's going crazy. Tony Khan, he's signing a lot of people now, He signed these two guys. He signed 3/4 he signed all the Rascals, but then Trey Miguel got released because of prior bullshit. So now, as we saw on Collision last week, we saw Trey Miguel, we saw Myron Reed, Desmond Xavier, and Zachary Wentz. So Trey Miguel go bye-bye. I don't know where is he going back to TNA. I don't know what's going to happen with that guy. So we move on with that. Alright, I gotta step out for a second. I'll be right back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that. Had to go, you know. When you gotta go, you gotta go. But it is what it is. You don't care. Some of you do, maybe you don't. Anyway, alright, so before I had to drop a deuce and everything, FTR takes on Alec Price and Jordan Oliver. Pretty decent match. Not, pretty good. And the fans loved this match. They loved Alec Price and Jordan Oliver, so Tony Khan. Good for you, sir. Alright, so Oliver locks up with Cash Wheeler, who's got a Glock. To start, Wheeler runs him down. Then a small package gives Cash Wheeler a near fall. And then all 4 men in the ring. FTR gets sent to the outside for stereo flippy doobity-doos from the young guys. We go back in. A top rope double stomp gets a near fall on Cash Wheeler, who comes right back with a big time lariato on Alec Price, who gets right back up, gets the hot tag to Jordan Oliver, who cleans house. Eventually, Dax Howard catches him in the corner. They go for the Powerplex, or the Power and Glory Powerplex, basically. That gets broken up. Alec Price tries to fight back, but walks right into a wicked shatter machine. 1, 2, 3, FTR get the win in just about 5 minutes. But good showing for Alec Price and Jordan Oliver in their AEW debut. The fans liked it. They're cheering them on. Good start. Good start to their young AEW career. And I think they have a promising career in AEW. Whether they not to be on Dynamite or Collision, maybe they'll be in Ring of Honor for a couple episodes here and there, but we'll see what happens with that. And then afterwards, Stokely Hathaway cuts a promo on Mark Davis and Jake something, otherwise known as Jake Doyle, as FTR will take them on for the AEW Tag Team titles next week in Austin, Texas. If that happens, but, because of the storm this weekend, who knows what might happen with power, and remember the last time you had ice and craziness down there in Houston, lost a lot of days without power down in Texas, so hopefully you don't get any of that, but we'll see how everything goes this weekend. That's that. Alright. Then we go to Chris Cakelander along with the Babes of Wrath, Holly Cameron, and the resident fun girl, Willow Nightingale, the TBS champion. Bam! Basically, they answer the challenges of Thekla and Julia Hart. And then Harley Cameron just says the catchphrase, "We are the Babes of Wrath!" Something like that. I don't know what that catchphrase is, but we got that. Alright, it's 2.25 out of 5 stars for the FTR Alec Price Jordan Oliver match. I gave that 3 out of 5 stars. Good match there. Alright, after that segment with the ladies, we go to a singles match with the return to the ring of Kenny by God Omega! Bang! And it's Wednesday night. We get to stay up late, watch Kenny Omega while we masturbate. We all know that. And if you don't know, watch the video. That's that. Alright, so Kenny Omega takes on a guy that he knows very well, Josh Alexander. Pretty much in a rematch from a couple years ago in TNA. That was an epic match, by the way. This match was pretty good, too. So they go back and forth. Don Callis, obviously, at ringside. So we go to the floor, and the mats are peeled back. Let me get my notes. Okay. Mats are peeled back. Omega grabs a Snapdragon, followed by a running flippy dippity doo to take Josh Alexander down. They get back inside the ring. Kenny's brain buster on the knee, or the collateral damage from Adam Cole, baby, gets a near fall. Josh Alexander gets back up with a suplex, and they crash out to the floor for a double down on the floor. And then they slug it out. Kenny goes after Don Callis, who he's been going after for years. He doesn't want to 69 him anymore, I guess. Anyway, and that little distraction allowed Josh to grab the ankle lock. That gets broken up, so Josh hits the running cross body to knock Kenny off the apron and out to the floor. Throws him back in. Kenny hits the V trigger out of nowhere, and then a Kogeyame running knee strike. Then he picks up Josh Alexander, hits one-winged angel. 1, 2, 3. Kenny Omega gets the win in under 12 minutes. Decent match. I gave 3 out of 5 stars. And then Kenny gets on the mic, says that he's feeling great. He's living in Orlando now. He's not living in North Carolina. Why'd you move? No, you live in somewhere in Florida. And basically says that he's coming for MJF and the world title. And then he basically tells Don Callis, off a little bit. And he says, well, I beat you. Adieu. Goodbye. Mwah! And good night. Bang! And that's pretty much it. Alright, so we'll see what happens with Kenny this week. Maybe we'll see him on BTE this week. We didn't see the Bucks, so maybe they took the week off. So maybe, I don't think we're going to get a BTE the next week, but we'll see what happens with that. Depends on the Bucks and that idiot Brandon. And we'll see what happens with that. Alright, so Kenny's back. Gets back to his winning ways. You love to see it. Let me move on. Alright, then we get to Taz's technique. We haven't seen that in a while. And he's talking about some awesome breakdowns as he looks at the physics behind MJF's Salt of the Earth armbar move that he put on Bandito last week. It's a basic armbar. Not a Fujiwara armbar per se, but an armbar. Did he just say his awesome techniques? Yeah, Mike, he said awesome techniques. Well, his techniques suck because my techniques are pretty awesome like me. Taz ain't shit. Huh? You lost the title to him back then when he took your title, and then he gave it to Tommy Dreamer after that. Now, I hated that guy, but he gave me my big break, Yeah, I know, I remember that, I was there. I wasn't there, you know what I mean. I wish you were there, but yeah. Well, it wasn't in New York, though. I don't think it was in New York, I forget. I should know! Not now, it's late. Anyway. But, yeah. Anyway, yeah, he gave you his big break, and blah, 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 and then you lost to him. And then he gave Tommy Dreamer one of his first ECW world titles. Didn't you kick his ass at one point? Yeah, I put him through tables galore, but I never won a title, I don't think. I don't even remember either, so, you're in my book, too. I get so old I forget, too, Yeah, me too. I'm almost 50. How old are you? I don't even know how old I am. Okay. He's older-ish, he's older. But, I'm 50 and I can't remember half the shit, But you still look good, Gilmore. Joseph. Damn right, Mike. I can tell you look good. Not like that. Yeah. Mr. Joseph, don't go that way, you fuckers. Okay, thank you, Mike. We don't have to defend me, but it's okay. Anyway, you want to say goodbye? Because I got to finish this up. I got to go to sleep pretty soon. I'm tired. Alright, you have a great rest of your show, and you have a great night. And we'll talk tomorrow. Okay, Mike, we'll talk tomorrow. We'll kick ass tomorrow, okay? We'll train some more tomorrow. Okay, you have a great show. Bye, guys! Bye! Okay, get out of here. Thank you. Mike, awesome! You should be in the Hall of Fame, goddammit. Oh, by the way, Mike, I'm sorry to get back here for a second. What do you want? I gotta go back. I gotta go do something. Oh, I know, you got to go take a shit. I'm sorry. Did you hear Bobby Duncombe Sr. is up there now with his, his son, Bobby Duncombe Jr. a little bit. I don't remember him, not that much, really, but I heard his dad died. I'm sorry. I didn't see him come up into the pearly gates, and all that shit. But, if I see him, I'll say hi. Yeah, okay. Okay, now you can go. Okay, bye! Okay. Sorry. But yeah, Bobby Duncombe Sr., if you haven't figured it out, has passed away earlier tonight at the age of 81. And I'd like to thank good old Bill Apter for hooking me up with the video on that. Because I didn't know he passed away until I watched his video on his channel. So big ups to Bill Apter, the legendary man that he is. Alright, we got that. Alright, so we got Taz's Techniques, which I gave 2.25 out of 5 stars, and that's that. Kenny's match, I guess I had 3 out of 5 stars. Alright, then we get to the death slot, and it's time for the ladies, and we got the Mega Sis, Megan Bayne, and her bestie, Penelope Ford, back in tag team action. We saw them on Collision. Who did he beat? They beat Diva Van and, I think it's, Vanessa Bourne on Collision. But this time, they take on the Timeless Love Bombs. Mwah, mwah. Well, screw. That's Timeless Tony Storm, darling. Bosom. And my fourth amazing hot Asian wife, Mina Shirakawa. Under 11-minute match, went back and forth. We're getting to the end. Marina Shafir is comes out. Eventually, well, after the match, she came out. I was like, but near the end, we get the stereo sexy hip attacks from the lovely ladies, sending Penelope and Megan to the outside for a pair of flippy dippity doos, and then Mina goes up top with a top rope sling blade for a near fall on Penelope Ford. And then they go outside and go back inside the ring. They all get in. Mina with that wicked back fist to Penelope Ford, and tries to go for it. I think she broke up the pin, and then eventually Mina succumbed to the Doomsday Device. And that's it. So Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford get the win in under 11 minutes. Match gave 2.5 out of 5 stars. And then after the match, Marina Shafir comes out of nowhere and basically makes her go night-night as she put her head in her boobies with mother's milk. I think Tony might have liked that, but I wish it was me. It should have been me. And that's that. Alright, so we get that. So 2.25 out of 5 stars for that match. Speaking of Marina Shafir, her husband, Gotti! We see him becoming the #1 contender for the CMLL World title. I believe that match is next week. I think it's on Collision or it's next week. And he's going to be taking on Claudio, who is the CMLL World Champion. Now, Roddy was in Mexico over the weekend. He beat Hicesaro and I forget who else. I think he beat El Clone too to get to the #1 contender slot. Contenders slot, not spot, slot. My spot, dog spot, leave a spot, but my spot. No, stuff like that. So we'll see what happens with that. Should be a good match between two guys who know each other very well. And that's Roddy and Claudio, two former Ring of Honor champions. And we get that. Alright, then we get what's coming up on Collision this week. And next week on the program, Excalibur going crazy, not taking a breath for like 650 minutes. Oy. Dude, take a breath. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. How old is Excalibur? Is like 50 years old, maybe I don't know, 60 years old. Dude, you need a mint. You need some water. You need something. You need a alcoholic beverage. You know, take a breath, dude. You keep doing this, and you get to your 70s and 80s. You're gonna not have any breath to do even one match. He's gonna run down the card. Can't do it no more. They're gonna have to get Shivani or somebody else to do it. That could do it in that record time. I don't think anybody can. So, we'll see what happens with that. We're going to see what happens with that. And we move on. Alright, so that's Saturday on the program, and next Wednesday on the program from Austin, Texas. Yep! We're going to scare those Cowboys down in Texas next week. Moving on. Alright, then we go to your main event of the evening, Swerve Strickland with my good buddy, Prince Nana. Buys coffee, by the way. Yeah, Rosa loves that coffee. Religiously loves that coffee. Gotta buy another pack of it. Anyway, we'll do that later. So Swerve takes on Kevin Knight from Get Speed, 1/3 of the Trios Champions. This match was great. Back and forth they went, and you gotta give it to Kevin Knight. He took Swerve to the limit and almost beyond the limit. And Swerve was like, this guy, you gotta watch out for this guy, I worry about you sometimes, but you watch out for this guy. Pretty much. Swerve grabs a Death Valley driver, but it's not done. He hits a Texas Power Driver. Ow, on the barricade of all things. Oh, that looked wicked. I don't know how Kevin Knight finished this goddamn match. They go back in a 450 to the back. Sets up a wicked version of the Dragon Sleeper. I mean, Kevin Knight, his back, I thought he was gonna, break his neck or something. If he just went, moved his hand up, done. Kevin Knight go night-night, pretty much. I mean, for good night-night, because he have a broken neck. And worse, who knows. But anyway, so he puts him in the Dragon Sleeper. Kevin Knight fights his way to his feet. Sends Swerve into the corner, where he Hurricane Ranas him down. Then he hits coast to coast. That was impressive. Then he hits a UFO splash for a near fall. And Swerve gets out of it and starts smiling at him. I know. And Kevin's like, alright, bitch, I'm gonna hit you with your own finisher. So he hits it with the house call. Goes for the cover, gets another 2.999999999 Batman 5. Then they trade pump kicks. And then they run the ropes. And looked like they were gonna. I thought they were gonna collide in midair. When they collide in midair, they're going for the same body cross body block, and they hit each other in the ribs and shit. So they fly at each other, but Swerve hit Kevin Knight with the house call. That was crazy. Then he picks him up and hits the Gringo Killer. Little shout out to Homicide. That was, I was like, you're going to use that move? Holy shit, we haven't seen that move in God knows how long. At one point it was banned, because the Hurricane used to do it. The Hurricane used to do it, and then kind of injured a couple people, and then same thing with Homicide. If you watch Homicide's matches, when he hit the Gringo Killer, I was like, oh god, his neck is gone. The way he hit it, too, was just wicked on different freaking weapons and shit. Oy. But anyway, God bless Homicide. The original 187, the OG. Blat! Can't roll my R's like he does. But anyway, so Swerve hits the Gringo Killer. Then he hits the JML driver. Damn, 3 finishers in 1. Damn. Finishes off Kevin Knight in under 17 and a half minutes. Match was great. And I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It's an amazing match. That's it. Then we see Maxwell Jacob Fartknocker in the skybox. Drinking some champagne with some hot chick. I don't know who that chick was, but she was pretty tall. And, that's it. By the way, speaking of tall ladies, a lot of people were asking me, hey, Peter, who was that girl that, Carly Bravo, took over the barricade and, on Ring of Honor TV this week? Well, that young lady, her name is, she's from Maryland, I think she wrestled in Maryland Championship Wrestling. Somebody told me that in a comment on, not on my video, by the way. It was on it was on a Ring of Honor video, and they were showing the match. I think it was on a short or something like that. So I said, "Who the hell is that chick?" Because I didn't know. So somebody actually told me her name. She wrestles in Maryland. I forgot her name. I think her name is Christian, not Christian, like Chrissy Ann or Christian. It's like a weird spelling of her name, but she's tall, and she's, like I said, she's worked the Maryland circuit. So there you go. So that's who that woman was. It's a female wrestler from Maryland, I think. But thank you to that person who let me know. So I don't have their YouTube name, but thank you anyway, whoever, if you ever come across this video. But that's that. All right, so that ends the show. So Max is pissed because Swerve won. So we'll see what happens with all that. So we got a lot of contenders for Max's title. Samoa Joe, Hangman Adam Page, Kenny, Brody King, Swerve. We got like 5 people going after that belt. And we're not even at the first pay-per-view yet. We got about another month and a half to go before Revolution on March the 15th. And then after that, we got to go into April. We go April 12th, which is Dynasty for you people in Australia. Dynasty. So, pretty much per se, back-to-back pay-per-views. We got one in March, then one in April. And we're getting, I think by May, we're going to hit Double or Nothing time. May or June. So, lots of stuff coming up for AEW. But this week, a pretty damn good show. And I gave the show 7.25 out of 10 stars. Hopefully the rating goes up this week, because it went up last week. So we'll see what happens with that. And, yeah, pretty much every show this week was pretty damn good. So see what happens tomorrow with TNA on AMC. We got Ring of Honor TV this week, which hopefully is better than last week. I don't know, but, you know, we hope. And then we got SmackDown on Friday from Montreal, the go-home show before Saturday's main event. This Saturday, so we got that coming up this Saturday, and then next week is Royal Rumble week for WWE. We got Raw at its regular time at 8 p.m. We got SmackDown from Saudi Arabia at 1 p.m. if you have a VPN. We'll see that live at 1 p.m. on Netflix if you have a VPN. Because you can't get in on the stream. You cannot find it. You have to have a VPN to watch that, and Netflix. And that's that. Then we got NXT, the go-home show before the February 3rd mega event. Dynamite next week from Austin, Texas. TNA, episode number 3, next Thursday night. As we're gearing up for Sacrifice in February the 13th. Friday the 13th, by the way. And that's it. Then we got the Royal Rumble next Saturday afternoon, because that's from Saudi Arabia as well. So we'll see that at 1 p.m. And then we'll go right into Collision later that night. And then we don't have anything to start February, because that's a Sunday. We don't have anything. Promo is February the 3rd. Not that anyone's going to watch that. And as we saw in February, we got the Elimination Chamber February the 27th. The 28th, I should say. We got Sacrifice February the 13th. I think we have another event in February, maybe another Saturday's main event. Well, that's going to be in March. But yeah, March is going to be a pretty interesting month as well. So lots of things going on in the world of professional wrestling, and I will be here throughout February and throughout March, and I'm losing my voice again, as you know, I lose my voice half the time. And we got that. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Once again, 7.25 out of 10 stars for Dynamite this week. was a great show, and that's that. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Once again, Raw review coming tomorrow on my Kill Demons channel, so stay tuned for that. And then later on tomorrow night, also on the Kill Demons channel, your TNA on AMC review for episode number 2 of the AMC era. And anything else that might come your way, I might do it later tomorrow night. Alright guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Until next time, peace.